you guys. I'm so sorry I'm late to the live, but at the end of the day, I am a coach and my clients come first, and I was on a call with a client and we had a lot to get through. We're having a great conversation, so I was not about to cut it off to hang out on social media. So I got here as soon as I could. Today we're talking all about the disinhibition reflex. Sorry, it looks like this half of me is glowing and on fire. I'm right next to a window, but this is going to be short and sweet. So basically, most women know that if you restrict for a very long time, if you have a sweet tooth, but you never let yourself have, a bite of chocolate or Skittles or whatever your thing is, or ice cream, if you love something sweet and you never let yourself have something sweet, you are one bite away from something sweet to eating everything. You just lose your shit. Or, like if you love tortilla chips, you never have them. You just can't control yourself around them. And then you find yourself near tortilla chips and I'm going to have two. I'm going to give myself two. And then you have one, then you have seven, then you ate all of them. We've all done it. So that is what restriction ends up doing. You get so enthralled once you finally taste it that you cannot control yourself because you've restricted for so long, you just lose your shit. That can result in binge mode because you've put this forbidden food on a pedestal and it holds a lot of power over you. You've been restricting it for so long, and now you can finally eat it. So you lose your mind. That most people are familiar with, which is why it's important to incorporate, foods that you enjoy throughout a diet phase. A little bit of chocolate here and there, make something at night that's sweet, that satisfies the sweet tooth. If you love tortilla chips, have a few with lunch regularly to kind of decrease the power they have over you. But you can go too far. There is the opposite of the restrict binge cycle, and it can also create binges. So I found out about this the hard way after I messed up. So basically, you can give yourself too much variety, and that insinuate a binge mode. So let me give you an example. When I was new to, tracking macros, flexible dieting, and I was like, wait, I can eat anything. I just have to meet those numbers, but I can use whatever foods I want. Game on. I love cereal and I love granola. Love. Did I mention that I love cereal and granola? So instead of being a normal human and being like, okay, well, I know I've been restrictive, so I need to not be restrictive. I'm going to go get a box of cereal and some granola. I think I bought, 5 boxes of cereal, at least 3 or 4 bags of granola. So I got home and I had all of my favorite foods within an arm's reach. I was excited and I was able to exercise some control for, a day. But then all of my favorite foods were right there all the time. And I felt like I had to try every single one quickly. And then I'm like, well, now the bag's open, so I don't want it to go bad. So now I need to eat more. So I lost my mind and I had all the cereal, all the granola. I'm surprised it was not coming out of my nose. I am not kidding. So I started doing some research. I'm like, what the hell? I'm no longer restricting, but I cannot stop myself. And basically, you can take it too far. You can give yourself too many choices to be able to exercise any form of logic around your food. It's like you take your 3-year-old into a jelly bean factory and say you get to have one flavor of jelly beans, pick from the 800 you see. They're going to lose their mind, throw a fit because they need more than one jelly bean flavor. That's what's happened. You walk into your pantry and you see 6 things that are all your favorite things. How on earth do you expect yourself not to lose your mind? You are a ticking time bomb. It's not because you've been so restrictive. It's because all of it is right there at your fingertips. You have too much variety. You have literally created an environment. It's like the dog that you put the treat on the nose and say, but you can't eat it. It's going to eat it. So if you give yourself everything you want and it's within an arm's reach, you're only a matter of days away from wanting to eat all of it because you gave yourself all the temptations. Everything right there. It's just too much. So what I learned, I have some foods that I like a lot that I mention. I like cereal and granola. It's a thing. So I know I cannot have more than 2 boxes of cereal. Occasionally we have 3, but that's because I have a Josh and he likes cereal too. So it's fine. I can handle it. But usually if I'm going for cereal, if I'm eating it frequently, 2 boxes is my limit. I typically will have 1 bag of granola, sometimes 2. Right now I have 2. I have a chocolate granola and I have a pumpkin granola. That is it. I will not, God help me, cannot have more granola than that. Otherwise I'm going to eat all of it. All the granola. So I know I can't restrict because it'll make me want to binge. I've done that. I've played that game before. It's not fun. But I also know if I go too far away from, I have all the food freedom, I have no restriction, I can eat anything I want, so I'm gonna buy all my favorite foods and get it in my kitchen right now, you're a ticking time bomb from wanting to eat it all right now because all of it is right there. So that can also trigger binge mode just because you have too much variety, too much overwhelm, so you're like, fuck it, and you just go for it. So there's a fine line to walk between not being so restrictive that you're a ticking time bomb of the second it hits the lips, you lose your mind and eat all of it because you haven't had it in so long, versus you buy everything that triggers you and you surround yourself with it because you don't restrict anymore. All your triggers are going to launch at the exact same time. So find a few things and start slow. Let's say for you, your thing is chocolate. You love chocolate. Love it. Love it. So you're like, all right, I love dark chocolate squares. So get yourself a bag of Dove dark chocolate squares where the little things are wrapped in. And then maybe what I have is a bag of dark chocolate chips that I'll sprinkle on oatmeal or yogurt. So I have 2 options to choose from. But if you love chocolate and you are no longer restricting, the last thing you want to do is go buy the Dove dark chocolate squares, the squares that have the almonds in them, 3 chocolate bars, the Reese's peanut butter cups, chocolate granola, Cocoa Puffs, and just have every chocolate thing at your fingertips because you love it so much, you're going to want to eat all of it. So start, if you've been restricting and you're trying to get away from it, start incorporating things you enjoy in smaller pieces. Or if there's a few things, like mine is the cereal and granola, I think we've covered that. But let's say you're like, I love chocolate. We talked about tortilla chips earlier. I love tortilla chips and I love popcorn. So you have 3. Maybe don't go buy all of them all at one time. Have an option for chocolate, get used to that, and then bring in the tortilla chips. Have a little bit there. Then bring in the popcorn. Have a little bit there. You don't want to go from I can't have any of that to I'm no longer restricting, so I'm gonna buy everything right now and just overwhelm your senses. There's going to be no self-control. You can go from restriction to overwhelm if you go too far on the opposite side of the spectrum. So what you want to do is just walk a fine line between I know what I like and I'm going to incorporate that into my diet regularly, but it doesn't mean I need to buy every variety the grocery store sells every single time, because then you just have way, way, way too many treats at your disposal and we only have so much self-control to exhibit at all times. So don't make your life harder than it needs to be by creating an environment where you need to exercise self-control all the time because you bought all of your favorite treats. I've done it wrong. Trust me. So it's called the disinhibition reflex when you just flip on fuck it mode. Alcohol does it for people, too much variety does it for people, and too much restriction does it for people. It's all about moderation in all aspects. It's easier to just say no all the time or say fuck it and say yes to everything all the time. Those are the easy cop-outs and easy in the short term. But long term, they never get you what you want. You want to find that middle point. Don't be too restrictive. Entertain the things that you love, but be reasonable about how much of it you buy all at one time. So that's really what I wanted to cover is the disinhibition reflex is the fancy way of saying fuck it mode. And there's a balance between too much restriction and too much variety. Avoid the extremes, hang out right in the middle. That's typically the sweet spot. You'll find out what works best for you. The biggest thing is just don't be afraid to get it wrong. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. There's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with mistakes. You learn from it, and then you move forward, and you're better for it. So that's all I wanted to cover. Thank you guys for coming. Of course, if you have questions, concerns, thoughts, hopes, dreams, everything, drop them in the comments below. I know this is recording, so if you come in later, any comments you drop below, I promise I will answer everything. Harriet, I see you. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. I will see you on our Zoom next week since you couldn't make it today. And Harriet, if you have any questions, drop them in now. Otherwise, I'm about to sign off. get back to work, and hopefully this was beneficial. So have a great day, you guys. Thanks for watching.